Some places don't just harbor dark secrets, they refuse to let anyone escape unscathed. In this countdown, we'll delve into the most notorious addresses across America, each rumored to cast a spell so strong that no visitor truly gets out intact. Ready or not, let's unlock the doors of these haunted homes, but remember, legends say no one emerges untouched. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have Lemp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri. Legend persists that once you step through the doors of Lemp Mansion, you're stepping into a swirl of bad luck that just won't let go. This sprawling brick home belonged to a prominent family whose lives took unsettling turns within these walls, fueling talk of a relentless curse. Folks claim to hear phantom footsteps and hushed voices echoing in the corridors, as if past residents are trying to warn newcomers. Some guests insist they've felt an overwhelming sorrow weigh on them the moment they cross the threshold, and for years there's been a rumor that no occupant truly leaves unscathed. Today it operates as a restaurant and inn, but stories of unexplained shadows and strange breezes still keep people on edge. Next, we are talking about the Drish House in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. There's something about the Drish House that refuses to blend into the background, no matter how many times you drive by. Built in the early 1800s, it was once a symbol of Tuscaloosa's elegance, a stately home wrapped in tall columns and framed by sprawling grounds. Yet beneath its graceful appearance lurks a story that locals have passed down in hushed tones. One of the key points of intrigue revolves around a set of candles kept for a significant funeral, which were supposed to be saved for the next time the household found itself in grief. It's said that after the original resident passed, those candles took on a life of their own, casting strange glows in the upper tower windows on random nights and puzzling anyone who ventured close. Over time, rumors about restless figures drifting through darkened rooms turned the Drish House into a magnet for ghost enthusiasts. Many report uneasy feelings just standing near the structure, as though unseen forces are eager to share their unrest. Changing ownership over the years did little to dissolve its mystique, and each new caretaker added fresh tales to the local lore. Certain residents confided they never fully escaped the sense of being watched, even in broad daylight. Doors would swing shut with no explanation, footsteps echoed in hallways emptied of people, and an icy heaviness seemed to grip the air whenever dusk settled. The building itself fell into disrepair at various points, narrowly avoiding demolition thanks to last-minute deals and oddly timed coincidences that some believed weren't coincidences at all. Today, it stands partially restored, serving as a silent reminder that not everything can be packed away neatly into history. Next, we are talking about the Summerwind Mansion in Land O'Lakes, Wisconsin. Perched by a quiet lake, Summerwind Mansion looks picturesque at first glance, but a string of eerie events has given it a fearsome reputation. Financial ruin haunted nearly every person who tried to restore the place, and bizarre sightings only add to the tension. Former residents have whispered about shadowy figures drifting through corridors and unsettling noises in rooms that should be empty. To make things even stranger, the house was struck by lightning before eventually burning down, and many attribute that dramatic end to the so-called Summerwind curse. Although it's now mostly ruins, locals share stories of the mansion's restless energy, warning outsiders to tread carefully or face a fate that's tough to escape. Next, we are talking about Franklin Castle in Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland's Franklin Castle might be the most imposing home in the city, complete with turrets, gargoyles, and a history steeped in unexplained sorrow. Hidden passageways and secret rooms have long fascinated visitors, but they also spark rumors of clandestine activities. Over the years, occupants reported a constant sense of being watched, and many owners never seemed to stay for long before packing up under very tense circumstances. Doors that slam on their own and eerie whispering sounds make it feel like the walls themselves hold grudges against anyone who enters. Locals whisper that no house household has truly thrived here, claiming the place simply refuses to let happiness grow. Next up, we are talking about the House of Death in New York City, New York. They say New York never sleeps, and the same might be true of the apparitions said to roam the infamous House of Death. Standing quietly on West 10th Street in Greenwich Village, this brownstone has garnered an unsettling nickname thanks to countless spooky tales. Some visitors report drifting orbs of light, unexpected cold spots, and fleeting visions in mirrors that vanish as quickly as they appear. The long roster of residents who left under bizarre or distressing circumstances has convinced many that the building harbors a malevolent force. Despite its prime location, rumors suggest no one can truly find peace here, as if the house itself decides who stays and how they leave. Next, we are talking about the Kreischer Mansion in Staten Island, New York. A grand Victorian home on Staten Island, Kreischer Mansion, once symbolized prosperity, but soon descended into a spiral of misfortune. Commissioned by a wealthy brickmaker, the property was marked by sudden setbacks that nod at the family legacy. Over the years, folks have described unsettling footsteps in vacant hallways and lights flickering at odd intervals. A caretaker's grim confrontation on the premises only deepened beliefs that a powerful darkness clings to the mansion. Though it is privately owned today, local lore insists anyone spending significant time here risks being caught in a cycle of endless turmoil. Next, we are talking about S.K. Pierce Mansion in Gardner, Massachusetts. This striking Victorian manor boasts ornate woodwork and an impressive facade, but it's the tales of restless shapes drifting through rooms that truly capture people's attention. Built by a prominent furniture magnate, the home saw a chain of unfortunate incidents that left behind a cloud of mystery. Paranormal investigators talk about furniture moving on its own, doors locking unexpectedly, and voices calling out in empty hallways. The oddest detail is how often people try to renovate or move in, only to find themselves fleeing with unsettling stories and a lingering sense of dread. Rumor says nobody can endure the mansion's atmosphere for long, as if intent on breaking every spirit that dares to settle there. Next, we are talking about the Baker Mansion in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Baker Mansion stands as a classic symbol of both grandeur and heartbreak, thanks to a local legend about a wedding gown that allegedly moves behind glass. A daughter of the original owner never realized her dream of marital bliss, and some say her spirit now roams the halls, reminding guests of a love that went unfulfilled. Clanging sounds late at night and a persistent chill in certain rooms have prompted believers to call this place distinctly haunted. Tour guides joke, somewhat nervously, that the mansion's energies can turn on you if you ignore its history. Those who linger too long often claim they leave feeling weighed down by a sorrow they can't quite explain. Next, we are talking about the Farnsworth House Inn in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. A historic lodging near one of America's most famous battle sites, Farnsworth House Inn has a vibe that feels suspended between past and present. Soldiers reportedly took shelter here during a major conflict, and countless stories describe the spirits of those who never found peace after the fighting ended. Guests have claimed to see figures in old-fashioned uniforms strolling the halls, accompanied by muffled sounds of marching boots. Nighttime can be especially tense, with doors creaking when no one's around and echoes that defy logical explanation. Many stay a single night for the thrill, but local gossip holds that if the atmosphere latches onto you, moving on unscathed is not guaranteed. And finally, on our list today, we are talking about the Sorrel-Weed House in Savannah, Georgia. Few places in Savannah rival the Sorrel-Weed House for sheer paranormal reputation, with visitors repeatedly claiming unseen hands brush against them in dimly lit rooms. This stately mansion boasts classic Southern architecture, but it's overshadowed by tales of bitter disputes and unexplained passings. Voices drift through the air in hushed tones, and tour guides say they've heard footsteps follow them only to find empty halls behind them. Psychic mediums who visited speak of an ominous energy that clings to certain corners, as if unwilling to loosen its grip on anyone who steps foot inside. Rumor has it that once this house sets its sights on you, life might never feel the same again. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Livia Kozlovsky, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.